Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As I mentioned in a couple of my previous videos, I really wanted to do for you guys how to make your own bath bomb video. So that is what I've got for you today. Now I have already started, and the reason I already started is because I wanted to have a little chat with you guys about some of the products I'm using when I'm making them, and also just to kind of basically does take a little while to make bath bombs. I've got to be honest, it takes a long time, and that is depending on how you do them obviously, but the way that I do them does take a little time. So I thought we'll get started, we'll get halfway through, and then you can kind of see and look at what I'm doing, and it will kind of give you a bit of an idea. So to start with, in here what I already have mixed is sorry about the camera wiggling around there, is just a powder mix. So in here we have sodium bicarbonate, we have cream of tartar, we have kaolin clay, and I have already added in my colourant. Now the colourant I use, I'm based in the UK, so these bath bombs are just for myself, they're not for anybody else. I don't actually sell my bath bombs at the moment. I do give them occasionally as gifts to friends and things like that, but the colourants that I use are these coloured powdered bath bomb colourants. I don't know if you can see that at all. There we go. And you can pick them up online, and I'll set a link in the description box as to where you can get them. And they come in these little 10-gram bags, and there's loads and loads of different colours. This is the amethyst, but one of my favourite colours, so I'm a really big fan of purple. I've also added in, what I haven't added in already is my citric acid, because to get the colour that I wanted, you have to basically add some moisture into it already, even before you've really got to the end stage. So I have already added in some witch hazel to make my colour bloom, to get it to the colour that I wanted it to. You only need a tiny bit of colourant, but because it's quite pigmented, you do need to then make it a little bit wet. So by adding the witch hazel, that just allows the colour to come to life, so to speak, before you add in any of the active ingredients. So everything in here basically is inactive at the moment. So your active ingredients will be your citric acid, and then if you decide to add it in, you don't have to, your sodium lauryl sulfatate, now SLSA, which basically makes it bubble. So you will find this in bubble baths and a lot of products which create a foam, and you only need a very small amount of that as well. The way that I do it at home when it's just for myself, I use a cup to cup ratio system. So for this mix I have done 1 cup of sodium bicarbonate, half a cup of citric acid, and then half a cup will make up all the extra little bits and pieces that I've put into the mix. So that will include, for example, epsom salts, cream of tartar, and my kaolin clay. So yeah, we're just going to wait for that to dry a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to add in some more ingredients. So just the tiniest bit of cocoa butter or coconut oil, and I coat a spoon with it, and then I add it in with my, so let me show you. So that's my measuring spoon, my 5ml. So I'll put 5ml of SLSA in, but I will have pre-coated the spoon with some cocoa butter or something like that before I put it in, and that just stops it from flying back in my face and making me sneeze. If anyone knows me personally, I am horrific for sneezing. The slightest thing can set me off. So I always find that just by that little trick, it just stops it from flying back in my face, and it just means that I can have the really nice bubble bath that I really like. Okay, all really nicely mixed in. Okay, so I'm just going to add in our citric acid, and as I said, this is an active ingredient, so it is what activates your bath bomb when mixed with water. So if you do have a mix which is quite damp, you'll find that it will activate the mix. So you just need to make sure that you're really careful when adding any liquids to your bath bomb mix. It's just a lovely violety, soft violet colour. It's just what I wanted. Right, now in my little pot here, I have got some almond oil and some coconut oil. I can sometimes add in coconut butter, but I won't be doing that today. The reason I won't be doing it today is because I always find when I add in coconut butter, it tends to make my bath bombs sink, makes them a little bit heavier, and they don't tend to stick together as well, so I won't be doing that. I have done in the past, and I do it when I've got a specific bomb in mind that I want to make for somebody, but as it's just for me, I won't be doing that today. And I've just added in some fragrance oil. Now you can use, there's lots of different fragrance oils out there on the market. This one, for example, is a lavender one. This is by a company called Be Beautiful, and you'll notice that a lot of my products that I'm using today are from Be Beautiful. If you go onto their website, and I'll link it below, they actually do little kits where you can kind of start yourself up making bath bombs, and it'll give you basically a couple of ingredients of everything that you need really to kind of get yourself started. So if you are interested in making your own at home, sort of having like a girly evening or something like that with some friends, then their kits are kind of, yeah, they're just a really good investment for when you're getting started. So basically I've just made a little well. I'm just going to add in some of my oils. Now when people are making really big batches of this, I have seen them use like mixers and things like that. I am not privy to one of those, so I do just do it by hand. As a result, I do find that I do have to do like smaller batches, just because I don't really have enough time before it's kind of gets to that point where it's ready to be mixed into a bath bomb, because you do start now really sort of, you're on a bit of a countdown when you're making them as to how quickly you have, how much time you have, should I say, till to play with the mix, because it does tend to dry out. And it's partly to do with the fact that I'm using witch hazel. If I'm completely honest, I have seen people who've used other mixes in the past, and their mixes tend to stay together a lot quicker, so a lot longer than mine, when they're using rubbing alcohol rather than witch hazel. But I just prefer the witch hazel because it does just bring another element to your bath bomb. Now, as you can see, that is already starting to stick together. Now, a lot of people say to me, what is the rush? I never rush putting my witch hazel on right at the end, just because I want to make sure that everything's just mixed in really, really well. And I always think of it a little bit like kneading bread. You think you're there, but actually you can keep just going and going. Okay, we are nearly there, and you can see that from the fact that when it clumps together and it falls, it's still holding its shape. Okay, now I've got my witch hazel. There we are. Now I personally find it most easiest to use in like one of these little spray bottles. Now mine's only a small one. You can see people who've got bigger ones, but because I only make small batches, there's really no need. No, I'm just going to fill this one up and then we'll be ready to spray it. Okay guys, so I have had a quick little tidy up. This is kind of pretty much there and ready to be sprayed with my witch hazel, which just gives it a little bit more sticking powder. You can see that's sticking together really nicely. Don't want too much more. Okay, should be enough. Let's make sure that's really well mixed in. Yeah, lovely. Right, so what we're going to do is we are going to fill our moulds and we're going to overfill them and then put a hole in the middle, and then we're going to squeeze them together. Okay, so that's one. Oh, while we're talking about moulding bath bombs, these cheap moulds that you can buy on eBay or from places like AliExpress are horrific. You never ever get a really nice bomb from them, and as it's just for me, I don't mind using them, but yeah, they're always quite a disappointment. Especially when you're trying to get things out of them and you're mashing them and then you're actually denting the bath bomb. I mean, there is a slight way around it, but yeah, they're just not great. They're not worth the money. Don't bother buying them unless it's just going to be for yourself and you're not really that concerned about the smooth finish on your bomb. Okay, so we've done a couple. I won't make you watch me fill loads more up, but we're just going to leave this to rest for a little while and then we'll come and unmold them and then see what the finished result is. Hi guys, so I've just finished making all my bath bombs. The ones that you can see that are here have got the witch hazel, the almond oil, basically the batch that I kind of did the beginning of the video on. The large bomb and the slightly paler bombs over here, now I've done those with cocoa butter as well. Now you'll notice that they have a slightly softer finish to them, so they are a little bit harder to get the right consistency with, I find, when you do them with the cocoa butter. But I thought, do you know what, I challenged myself. I don't make bath bombs as often as I want to, so I thought I'd make some up now. As you can see, the ones that we've done have come out a really nice smooth consistency and they're really, really pretty. It smells fantastic in my kitchen, so we've just got to wait for them to dry now, and we will pop one or two of them in the tub for you to have a little look at tonight.